Elliot, thank you. And joining us now, host of Facing South Florida, Jim DeFede. And Jim, what do you make of the president tapping a familiar face to be his labor secretary?
So let's give Alexander Acosta a little bit more due than he was given during today's press conference. He wasn't even physically at the White House. This decision was made such last minute. The general feeling is that Alexander Acosta, the former U.S. attorney, will likely be approved. He's appeared for Senate confirmation on a number of issues in the past. He served on the National Labor Relations Board. There is some controversy, though, surrounding Acosta. Back in the 2003-2004 time period, there were a lot of complaints that the Bush administration, the Justice Department, was doing political hiring, basically appointing and promoting people based on their political views, particularly in the Civil Rights Division. That was at the time that Acosta was head. He's the Assistant Attorney General that oversaw the Civil Rights Division. There was an Inspector General investigative report, 76 pages. I reread it today. And what it found was that Acosta did not know about the improper procedures that were taking place under him, but he should have. And he should have had a better understanding. Why is that relevant today? You can be sure that senators will ask him that if he was unable to manage the Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department, will he be able to manage the Labor Department? Those are some of the questions he's going to get, as well as he's written some opinions from the National Labor Relations Board time that I'm sure unions and other progressives may find offensive and objectionable, and those will come up. But generally speaking, everyone I've talked to expects he will be confirmed, but it may not be as smooth as everyone thinks.
On a whole, this press conference was must-see TV. If you are a Trump supporter, you probably loved it. If you are not a Trump supporter, you might have been left scratching your head. What are the takeaways as far as you're concerned?
It was therapy. I mean, there was one report that I thought was spot on. This is usually something you do on a psychiatrist's couch, not in front of a national TV audience. This was very cathartic. You could tell the president had things he wanted to get off his chest. Is it part of a grand design to misdirect, the reporters away from the Russia story onto other things? Possibly. But what you saw here was just pure, the president just going at it. It was low energy, but he was determined to sort of go to war, toe-to-toe, handheld battle with the press.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because there were so many distractions and there were so many kind of noteworthy moments in this press conference. A lot of them were just kind of surprising, frankly, but the Russia story is not going away.
No, it absolutely isn't. And what was useful today for a number of people is that you started to see again the timeline being filled in. That's very important. What did Donald Trump know? When did he know it? What was the mood as he moved through it? He's now saying that if General Flynn had not contacted the Russians, he would have instructed him to contact the Russians to talk about sanctions. I thought that was a key moment. But this really did run the gamut. You had, as Elliot pointed out before, him talking very emotionally about the DACA kids who are here in this country and how difficult that situation is. At the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, you had for the second press conference in a row, Donald Trump teed up, offered an opportunity to denounce anti-Semitism being conducted in his name throughout the country, and he refused to do it. He instead took it as a personal.
He took it personally.
It was the reporter who asked the question went out of his way to say nobody is suggesting you're being anti-Semitic. However, there are all of these recent attacks and threats and all these things that are going across the country, very disturbing. And yet again, he brings it back to himself as if the reporter was attacking him when that wasn't the case. So this stays out there.
It seemed very much like a campaign appearance as opposed to a presidential news conference.
Which is what we're going to see on Saturday when he's in Florida. And again, he said he won the presidency through rallies and press conferences. And you can tell he thinks he's losing the battle a little bit. And so he's going back to the campaign mode, press conferences and rallies.
Host of Facing South Florida, Jim DeFede. Jim, as always, thank you.